Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People Show. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and today I'm abundantly humbled to have David here with me. David is multi talented, and I'm going to explain the reason why. So, David is a CEO, entrepreneur, director, cameraman, actor, and travel business owner. David, I want to thank you so much for coming on the Us People Show. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Really excited to be on the show. Doing really good. How about yourself? How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for asking. Each day is a different, but it's in a good way. It's always a positive lesson to be on it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, no, it's a blessing. Been alive, been healthy, been well. We thank God. So yeah, excited. Looking forward to the interview.
I love this. So, David, my first question for you is could you tell me a bit about yourself, where you grew up, and how that influenced you to be the person who you are today?
So David Dacosta, originally born in Nigeria, born in Lagos, and I came to the UK when I was 3 years old. When I was a little baby, and I've lived in the UK since. Grew up in southeast London,
Yep.
so I definitely know hardship. I know what it's like to grow up, lower class, poor, I might say. Um, Amazing parents, mum and dad. Raised me and my three brothers in the church. So we grew up, as a Christian family, a very close knit family. But definitely sort of struggles of growing up in Southeast London. You know, all the things that you hear, many people talk about that you have to go through. Fighting your way to establish yourself in society, financially, career wise, education wise, school, all the different things that we go through. So I saw struggle, and I saw other people not struggle. Some people had fortune, blessings, or just lucky. Some people had, inheritances and things. But a lot of the people in my community struggled, and I didn't want to struggle. I didn't want my family to struggle. So it pushed me into entrepreneurship. It pushed me to think outside the box, and I think that's what really shaped who I am today. Being able to be a very successful entrepreneur, run an organization in the travel space, over 30,000 people. And I think the hardship that I went through in my younger years, growing up into my teens and becoming a young man, I just thank God for the guidance, how it led me to not take my adversity as a depression and to be sad and to just follow the status quo and say, okay, well, because I grew up in a rough area, it's just this is what life is going to be. But it pushed
Yeah.
me to say, I deserve more, I want more, and it's out there and it's possible because I see other people doing it and I can go and get it. So, I love my upbringing. I love my strict Nigerian disciplined parents who raised me, with the fear of God, and the fear of beatings, you know,
Yep.
two fears, beatings and God, to, help me and my brothers, live a good life, not to get into too much trouble in the younger years that can have an impact today. Um, and yeah, I'm really happy with how society and life and the issues around growing up in Southeast London in a lower class family, how it shaped me to who I am today.
See, this is what I love. This is absolutely what I love when someone can have a vision, see a vision, take that vision, and regardless of what they see, because believe me, there are some temptations growing
Mm,
up in London, especially when you know that there's people around you that might tempt you to do something else instead of going on your path, but your path is different from somebody else's, and
yeah.
you deciding to go and do that and flourish in it, which I can clearly see, which I can hear the passion of as well. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to do. So, David, my next one for you is can you define who you are as a person, but also who do you see when you look in the mirror? But on the flip side of that question, has there ever been a time where you have looked in the mirror and not recognized the person staring back at you? How did you manage to go from a person that you may not have liked the vision of to becoming the person that you believe has purpose?
Mm. I mean, I do thank God for this. I've never looked in the mirror and been disgusted. I'm not
Mm.
saying I'm that good looking, but I've never looked in the mirror and been,
Oh,
upset at the person looking back or, confused, unsure as to who I am, what I want to do. I've looked in the mirror and been sad and upset about where I am, where I want to be, or I want something. It could be, being single and you want the right partner in your life, so, that can be something that weighs on your heart, and I got married 4 months ago, so
hey.
in my 30, 30, 30. 38. So, my brothers are all married with kids, and so it's like, okay, I'm the last one. I thought I was the best looking one, but so what's wrong with me? So, it can wear in your heart where you're like, okay, well, I just want my person. I want my person now. So I never looked in the mirror, questioning who I was or not happy with who I was. Obviously, wanted to, always do better. So I do
Yes.
thank God for that. But how I'd describe myself, what I'd say about myself, I would say I'm someone who, even when your back's against the wall, you would find a way to win. I think I'm one of the hardest working people I know. That's something that I know a lot of people say about me. And I don't, it's unnatural to toot your own horn, but I know I've got animal work ethic. I'm the sort of person that, even just recently with my travel business, I can be in three different countries in three different time zones within 24 hours. I
Yep.
flew from doing a big event in Atlanta, then to get back to the UK, I had to stop in from Atlanta to New York, New York to Toronto,
Yep.
Toronto to Gatwick, 6 in the morning, and then 7 in the morning I was doing one of these, a radio show to help out one of my business partners. I did it in the airport while in Gatwick, standing there with my luggage and my phone, just about enough battery, because I said I was gonna do something and I'm gonna make it, not make excuses. Oh well, I'm not gonna be at home. I haven't got my laptop with me, and I'm a hardworking person. I traveled to Jamaica for 2 days just to help one of my business partners in my travel business there. She was earning equivalent of £300 a month. I traveled there for just 2 days. I didn't get to see a beach in Jamaica. I didn't get to go and get some nice food. It's a 7 hour drive to get to the venue, do an event for her, 7 hour drive back to
Wow.
Kingston. I did another event the next day, then flew back to America. Now that lady's income went from £300 to £600 because of those two events I did. Now, in Jamaican dollars, £600 is equivalent to like £1,400. It's a
Yeah.
full-time income. Someone can live off that, and as a single mum, she's retired, living at home with her son, earning enough money because of that short burst of energy. Where I didn't make excuses that, well, I'm not going to go to Jamaica for 2 days. It's going to cost me £2,000. I'm not going to get to do fun and the beach. And no, I was committed to helping people, which is one of my big passions, helping people. So I would say, I'm proud of myself, and I know other people say that about me because of my work ethic. I put people first, people before profits, and I'm relentless.
This is how it should be. This is how it's meant to be. And there are not a lot of people in the world who have that work ethic, David, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something. So talk to me about travel. You are multi-talented, okay? Because before you even came on the show, I read out director, I read out cameraman, I read out actor, and then you have a travel business. You're a travel business owner.
Yeah,
So talk to me about the many. You've gone from creativity, and I do believe I always say this to everyone: creativity is not just in the arts; it's in absolutely everything you do in life,
yeah,
regardless if
yeah.
you're a therapist, a surgeon, a musician. It doesn't matter. There's creativity in absolutely everything. So talk to me about, I want to talk a little bit about each one of them. So I know you're a director, which is first and foremost, and I know you put a lot of time and purpose into that. But then also you was a cameraman. And if I'm correct, you left that when you was about 29.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe 20, more 28. But yes, I used to be a cameraman for Sky TV. I'll
Yes.
be waking up early hours of the morning in Southeast London, traveling all the way to North London. I'll be editing in the office all day, like 9 in the morning till 5, 6 p.m. And then after 6 p.m., my boss would send me to Euston, where I'd go and get a train to faraway lands, Scotland, land and did know, Liverpool, Manchester, different parts of the country. Like every single other day, I'm in a different part of the country, sleep in a dingy, cheap, bad hotels. Because the next
Mhm.
morning, I'll be filming corporate documentaries, up and down the country, far, far, far away from where I live. So it was a very, very tough and demanding job. I loved it. I love making content, filming, but I was definitely overworked and underpaid. I had a very abusive work force around me, so I wasn't in a great place in terms of, my goals. For me, I always wanted to be in a place where I could spend more time with my future wife and children than I would spend with my boss and colleagues.
Absolutely.
And obviously that business, that job wasn't going to help me to do that. It was paying me £900 a month. I was flat broke and I was overworking as if I was, earning millions. So I was able to walk away from that job because of the travel business I do. A good friend shared it with me. It's an opportunity with a company called Planet Marketing, which enables you to own your own online travel business. So you can save money, earn money on those travels you're doing anyway, build an income, booking travel for yourself and other people, and earning 70% of the commissions, which for me was a no-brainer. I love to travel anyway, and I've been giving away, over the last 10 years, my family's given away millions to the travel industry. We all book travel, whether you're going to Nigeria, Jamaica, Dubai, Spain, wherever you're, even the football tickets, activities, all these things are commissionable. So for me to own a business, because my family and my church and friends and colleagues are doing these bookings anyway, let me own a business and let me earn the commissions and give them a better experience. So I got into the travel industry and it changed my life. I was able to retire from the 9 to 5 job at the age of 28, I think roughly 28 at the time. Now I'm 38, for about 10 years, I haven't had a 9 to 5 job. And not to say jobs are bad, but, some people will say jobs are a good place to start, but not a good place to finish, depending
Yes.
on what you want your career goals to be, depending on if that job is that thing that is your passion or if you're just doing it to pay bills. And a very funny story, because I did have such a bad boss when I was working. I was able to give my boss a 2-day notice, and it's a little joke I say on stage. And my boss was like, "You can't give us a 2-day notice. The company policy, you need to give us a 30-day notice." And I said, "Look, you don't understand. I'm giving you a 2-day notice because today you are going to notice I'm not coming back tomorrow." So, being able to be job free, for me and my wife to be able to just travel the world. I can say, "Do you want some Chinese food?" She says, "Yes." I say, "Well, not looking at Uber Eats, let's go to China. Let's go to China for Chinese food." That freedom, time and financial freedom through this travel business, I just have to thank God for it because it's a blessing. Sometimes people don't brag or talk about success and is it worth it? But I find it's important to let people know it is worth it. Whatever passion or field you're in, like what you're doing, take it seriously and work hard in it. If you have a passion and it's something that can make you and your family money by working hard in something that
Yeah.
really means a lot to you, go all in and reap the benefits. We're all going to work hard anyway. Whether you
Yes.
work as a cleaner in a shop, whether you're a politician, whether you're the president, everybody is going to work hard. So you may as well get the results and the rewards for working hard. So yeah, that's a little bit about the background of how I got into the business. Just to save on my travel. That was really it. But then it turned into an amazing business, which I've grown an organization around the world of over 30,000 people. So 30,300 people now, which I'm very, very proud of. My biggest accomplishment in life today, in terms of business, is that.
See, this is what I love to hear when people achieve and they love what they achieve. So, we spoke a little bit about success. So, can you define what success means to you? Because everybody has this different definition of what success means to them. But what does it mean to you, David?
That's a great question. Success to me, being on both sides. I've
Mm.
been someone who's making £900 a month, trying to make ends meet, living in London of all places, a very expensive
Yeah.
place to live. And where I am today, it's a 6-figure income earner, projected to become, God willing, become a millionaire through the business that I do. And back in the days, I could never even say that without smiling or laughing. Like that, who's going to be a millionaire? Like that's silly. But success to me really comes down to the freedom, the
Yes.
freedom, to be with your loved ones.
Yeah.
If I wanted to see my mum right now, whether she's here, abroad, I can see my mum. If I want to spend time with my spouse, future children, I can do that. I don't have another man or woman telling me, "David, you can't do that thing. You
Yeah.
can't go and see your grandma abroad. You can't go and see, your spouse. You can't be there for your wife when she's pregnant, when this, when that. You need to be in the office Monday morning. You need to do this. You need to do that." So having the opportunity to make your own choices is a big part of success for me. I thank God again for health. I mean, all the money and all that stuff is irrelevant if you haven't got your health. So just thanking God every day for health. Obviously working hard on your health, making sure you're looking after your body, consuming the right things. I think health is a big part of success as well. And the love of good people around you.
Mhm.
Some people, I mean, the relationship I have with my mum. My mum's one of my best friends, and some people they abuse that relationship with their brothers, their sisters, their family. Like God's given you business partners ready to go, or people ready to go, called your siblings, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your auntie, uncle, your mum, your dad. And some people, over small nonsense, abuse that relationship, and now they're fighting, they hate each other. But that's blood, you should be able to trust each other. Like if I went into business with someone and I have to borrow them 50,000, I don't know if I'm going to get the money back because I don't really know them. Yes, we're business partners, but I don't have that instant level of trust. I have to write a contract to hold you legally to something. But if it's family, I can trust you. I can give you this 50,000. I can rely on you to help me fix that house and to do this because we're family. Now, obviously, sometimes family let you down, but
Yeah.
having a good relationship with your family, I think, is another part of success. And people, I hate to say it, but money does buy happiness, and I don't really like it when people say money doesn't buy happiness. And I get what they're trying to say. They're trying to say, there's more important there's more important things than money, or money's not everything. It's not the love of money, because that's what it says in the Bible. The love of money is the root of all evil. Money is just a tool, it's just paper. But we live in the UK, so you have to understand where you live. If you live in the UK and you're pretending that you don't need any money, you're in the wrong country. This is not the country to live in, pretending that you don't need any money. Money does buy happiness. If my mum never has to work again, if my mum gets to go shopping whenever she wants to buy, Gucci, Louis Vuitton handbags, she gets to travel with her partner and just live the life, and that makes her happy. And it's not because of the love I have for her, it's because of the money. If I get to that point where my mum never needs anything ever again and she's got all the things she wants, it's because of the money, not the love. I loved my mum when I was broke. I don't love her anymore today with more resources. It's just now I've got the resources and I'm building the resources to be able to help her more. And that makes her happy. That makes her very happy, and that makes me very happy. So, if people say money doesn't buy happiness, you're just shopping in the wrong place. Or you need to find someone that you really care about, that financially, if you help them with something, it will make them happy, which should make you happy. I'm a giver. I love giving. I love making people happy. I love supporting and looking after people. And sometimes you pay for people, sometimes you pray for people.
That's
But,
true.
a lot of times it comes down to finance. So yeah. So success for me, again, I was talking about this, today, with my partner, like not having to stress about bills and things like that makes such a big difference in most relationships. Most relationships, the biggest issue is finance. Struggling, scared of the bills and this and that. So I think it's such an important thing as well to be able to, to be comfortable. So that's where, finding a part of success for me comes in. Yeah.
What motivates you to become an entrepreneur and an advocate for underrepresented groups of people in the world?
Because I could relate, because that was me. It was me that was underrepresented, someone who was looked at as a statistic, a failure. Nobody in my circle back in the days would ever expect that David will be a six-figure income earner, potentially become a millionaire through this business, build an organization bigger than most companies in existence. No one would ever have said that about me. People would have just looked at me like a statistic, and I was the class clown. I wasn't someone who you would think of as a successful entrepreneur. I was just a basic guy. So there's many people around just like me who I believe under the right guidance and mentorship can become, can do big things. And that's what it comes down to. It's about mentorship. It's about guidance. A lot of people just need a role model, a mentor, especially for young men, young black men. I know there's a lot of parents out there who might be single parents. So there might be a mum saying, hey, look, I've got this young son. How do I raise my young son? As a woman, I want to raise my son. I don't have a male partner in my life. And I always say, it's not always so much about having a male partner. It doesn't have to be in an intimate relationship, but there's other men out there who want to help mentor and help
Yes.
raise young men. And you just got to connect them. It could be the person at the youth club. It could be in business. Anyone can join our business so long you're over the age of 18, and they get mentored by people like me. So for me, I went from literally in a very short space of time, 2015 to 2016, when I got into entrepreneurship, when I got into business, I went from being the lonely guy that no one knew, no one cared about, no one respected. I wasn't cool. None of the ladies were chasing me. I went from being that basic guy to making six figures, over $100,000, dollars a year. And that big change, I could have gone down the wrong path. All of a
Yes.
sudden, all the ladies like you now. All the ladies are chasing you. You got enough money to be in the clubs every night, partying, popping bottles, and renting out Lamborghinis, and you could ruin your life by going from flat broke to making financial, a big change. It's easy to say all the things I wanted to ever do, I can now do them. But having a mentor looking over my shoulder, having a man by the name of Donald Bradley, who's the CEO of the
The
company
company
I'm
I'm
in,
in.
having him to mentor me, to guide me, not just as a man, as a black man, as a father, as a husband, and as a successful entrepreneur. These are all the things that I aspire to be. I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good father. I want to be a successful entrepreneur. He's a multimillionaire. I would love to be a millionaire. I don't need to be, but I think it's good if God's blessed you with the ability to become a millionaire. I don't need £1 million, but I know 1 million people that I would love to help. Or at least I know 1,000 people that could each do with £1,000, right? So having a mentor, as a young man, I think is so, so key. And we don't understand sometimes the power of mentorship. Mentorship is in everything we do. The fact that you know how to use the microphone and set this up, at some point, someone or something mentored you in it. Whether you watched a YouTube video on how to set up a podcast or a TV show, whether you had someone else show you. If you drive a car, there was a day where you were scared of that car. And then you had a mentor called a driving instructor who gradually, week after week, month after month, showed you how to turn, how to do the roundabouts, how to park, and now you can do it in your sleep, but you had a mentor. So if you want to be successful in an area of your life, whether it's your health, your faith, so it could be spirituality, it could be learning how to be a host on a radio show, whatever it is, find someone who's done it, doing it on the level you want to do, and someone who's got the time for you. So, yeah, for me, success really comes down to having a mentor who's guided me as well. And I think that's very important in my upbringing.
I think one of the most important things you said, and I'm just going to emphasize on it, is the quality of the mentor also. Because I know a lot of people who have mentors, but it's not that I'm saying the way that they mentor is a certain way, but the one thing I know that you emphasize on is the quality of people who mentored you. And I think that's awesome. So for me, that means a great amount. David, you still there? Oh, David's gone for a second, guys. We'll wait for him to jump on and
Oh,
come.
sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're good.
Oh, yeah, sorry. My
No,
camera's
that's
on.
absolutely fine. No, that's all good. We're back now. So my next one for you is one thing that, like you said, when you left your job. It's funny that you said that because I left my job many years ago now, but I left my job, and what I did on my last day, I didn't even let them know. So they were lucky I gave them 2 days. I walked up my building
What
and
was it you did?
so basically what I did is I I planned everything, I prepared, and on the last day when I said, "Yep, I've had enough," I walked out the building, David. I looked at the building and I wrote my resignation letter while looking at the building,
Wow.
touched the building, and I said, "Thank you for just having me. Thank you for being here. This was a part of my life that I was meant to be, and I was meant to be here to learn, to help these people in this building. Now I'm gone." And I pressed send, and that was it. So
So
it
what
ended
was
up in 48 hours.
what was the job? What is it
So
you did for
basically,
work?
I was basically like a building manager.
Okay.
Um, I looked after the building, so I went from receptionist to supervisor to practically assistant building manager, as to say. And I
Wow.
kind of just had enough, like you said,
Yeah.
of working 50 hours a week and
Wow.
still feeling I was had no time for, my family or my partner. And I would come home, go to literally eat, and then have to do that cycle again. And it
Mm,
can get very tiring, it can get very stressful, and you don't feel like there is a purpose. Like, no, you know that this is not your purpose in the world. So one day I decided, no, I've had enough. I spoke to my partner. My partner was absolutely fine about it. And they said, if you feel like this is not your purpose, then leave. And the
mm,
way that you're being treated as well gives you even more reason to leave. So I just wrote my resignation as, like I said, as I turned around and looked at the building. But the one most beautiful thing I would say is that I still had gratitude for that
that's
job.
good. That's good. Yeah.
And I think that's so important. Even when you're in, like you said, you were a cameraman, you were traveling everywhere, you had great experiences, but you wasn't feeling fulfilled. You know that wasn't what you was meant to do. You was meant to do it for a time, but then you
Yeah.
decided to have enough.
Not
And David, I think for me, it was just the same thing, but it was just time to go, time to leave. And For me, that is one of the best things that you can ever do in your life. And sometimes people find it harder to take that jump because
Mm.
of fear. Fear is, and that's another thing we can talk about as well. Fear is something that can hold a lot of people back in their lives. Do you find that fear has ever held you back in any situations for you to be able to not do what you wanted to do? Or have you felt like that's never happened and you've just jumped all in?
It's a good question. I definitely feel at some point in my life, yeah, fair. I mean, fair to sometimes leave a relationship, knowing that this is not the relationship that you're meant to be in, knowing that this is not your person, sometimes you get comfortable, sometimes it's scary to try something new, to walk away from company that is not conducive to where you're going, walk away from company that you know is not good company. They're
Yes.
not fulfilling you. They're dragging you back. Bad people in your life that they may be bad people, but you've known them for 20 years. You've known them for 10 years. You've been around
Yeah.
them. And sometimes, unfortunately, it can be family or close friends who are not good for you, if you're married, for your health, for so many reasons, for your goals, where you're going. You're trying to climb up and elevate for your family, and close friends are pulling you down. Just telling you who you think you are. You're supposed to be poor. You're supposed to be a bum. You're not going to do that thing. You can't do that. So it can be scary walking away from the negativity in your life because that negativity might seem positive just because it's been around for so long. But
Yeah.
it's sometimes you got to cut the cancer. You got to cut the fat. And if and that's a big if, you want to excel and succeed and to be in a better place. So yes, it has been scary at points, walking away from and cutting things off. But when you let God guide you, and you listen, normally, it's easier that way, and you'll realize after probably a few seconds or a
Mm.
few years that was a good decision. I should have cut that thing off. I should have walked away from that. I don't know why I was holding on to that thing for so long, because now I'm in a much better place. I'm happier. Everything's going according to plan because I
Yes.
cut off that thing that was holding me back. So yeah, and it's scary. It's not easy to walk away from things and to cut things off, but if you allow God to guide you, He doesn't make mistakes.
That's very true. That's definitely true. What is the best advice or some of the best advice, David, that you have received in your life that has helped you to continue your journey?
Hmm. Not so much advice, but just again, I was talking about mentorship. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to achieve, let's say if you're talking in whether it's in business, in relationships, having a mentor, a guide. If you're newly married like myself, go and find a couple which is much older than you, who you can relate to, who you trust, and they love and trust and know you and have
Yeah.
got time for you, and ask questions. Take them out on a dinner date. You and your partner take, an older auntie and uncle, mum and dad, or someone else's mum and dad out on a dinner date and ask questions. Finding a mentor, finding someone who's done what you want to do. It's so simple. I want to learn how to drive. Find someone who knows how to drive. They will teach you. I want to learn how to set up a six-figure business. Or find someone who set up a six-figure business in an industry or a niche that you want to do as well. And if they've got the time for you, let them teach you and show you and listen and learn. Don't talk too much. Close it and just listen.
True.
So finding a mentor or finding people to guide you who care about your success as well, I think is one of the best advices or strategies I can give to anyone, and which was given to myself many, many years ago, which has been instrumental in my life.
One of the big things I always believe in is communication. So if I was to take you, David, and I was going to say, I take you, I put you on a desert island for 24 hours, and I say to you, David, you're allowed to have one activist, one president, and one musician. Who would you take on that island to speak to?
One activist,
One
uh,
activist, one
yeah.
president, and one musician.
When you say president, is in like a current U.S. president? That's
It could be
or
anyone. It could be alive
anyone.
or dead, or it
Oh
could be
wow, okay,
absolutely anyone. It's your choice.
wow. President, maybe Martin Luther King.
Oh, that's
Um, and you say one musician.
one musician and one,
Uh,
yeah, one activist, one musician, and one president. Yeah.
if I say Buster Rhymes, people will judge me.
Why?
But nah, but maybe one musician. Oh, that's a very good one. Maybe Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, because yeah, maybe Michael Jackson's a musician. President, I'll say Martin Luther King. And one activist. Oh, that's a hard one. Activist. Mm, that's a very hard one. I don't think I know tons of activists, but Candace Owens. I don't know if she's an activist, but I quite like her style. You know, I
Yeah.
like Candace Owens. You know, so yeah, maybe her.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
If there was one question that you wished people asked you, but nobody ever has really asked you that question, what would that question be and why?
Hmm. I mean, I do get it asked, but not as much as I should.
Mm.
Knowing where I come from, and a lot of people around me come from the same place as me, and we know the statistics. Most people that come from where I come from only achieve certain things, and they're not in the place where they want to be. And the government are not doing a great job to make life easier. I just heard, that they're going to increase tuition fees. They're backtracking on all the things they said to make us vote for them, and all of a sudden, oh, hey, I'm in. I changed my mind, and again, I see it, but um, people don't ask me enough. How can you help me? How can you help me to get to where you are? People sometimes are too scared,
Yeah.
shy, or it could be ego. One thing about me in my early years when I was flat broke, struggling, stressed out, not knowing where I'm gonna go, how I can improve, I was humble enough to say, "Hey, I need help." I wasn't arrogant. Oh no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm fine. I don't need that. I don't need anything. No, I need something. I need some help. Someone hug me. Someone give me some money. Someone show me something. I need anything. Give me. So I need some help. I was humble enough to say I'm struggling. I need support. I need help. I need someone to look after me. But a lot of people, don't. They'll suffer in silence, and knowing that there's someone just like them who grew up just like them who can help them, they're
Mm.
scared, and maybe it's ego, maybe it's people are going to judge them, but to ask for help. How did you do that thing? How can I be like you? How can I achieve what you've achieved? How can I live a better life? How can I help my family like you've done for yours? A lot of people are too shy, scared to ask those questions.
See, and that's really true. That's one of the things that I believe is, I see it all the time. A lot of people are scared to ask, and a lot of the time, David, you hit the nail on the head. It is actually ego and pride.
Mm,
Those are the
yeah,
two things that hinder people so much is ego and pride. And I'm glad that you're saying it out, because the more we talk about it, the more
mm,
we can, not necessarily eliminate it, but get to understand the depth of why people are like that. So, thank
100%.
you. So thank you for sharing that. If there was one quote that represented you as a person, what quote would you choose, and why would you choose that particular quote?
I'll probably say hard work and dedication. It's something that a mentor used to say, back in the days, and it's kind of like one of my mottos and mantras. Hard work and dedication. When you find that thing that you're passionate about, that thing that means a lot to you, work hard in it and be dedicated. So that's more on the business side, but hard work, dedication. Yeah.
I know you talk about, six figures and earning six figures and so on, but if you had an infinity amount of money, so I said, David, here is your check. It's infinity amount of money. No matter how much you spend, you get double the amount back. What is the
Mhm.
one thing that you would change in society or the world?
Um, Suffering. I mean, it's really sad when you hear different type of suffering. There's children who are being abused, and I guess with the right funding and the right heart, government or an individual could do things about it. I mean, you see Acon trying to set up, things to have electricity in parts of Africa.
Yeah.
Now, of course, it's got great wealth, but the government could have done that too. But
Yeah.
again, it's about the wealth and the heart. So if you have the wealth and you have the heart, there's a lot of sufferings you can stop. Whether it's people that don't get electricity, Wi-Fi, children who have been abused and suffering, domestic violence, poverty and hunger. If my check was unlimited, I wouldn't. I mean, I know I'm good. So how can I help a lot of other people who really starting with the lowest common denominator, the person who needs it the most? How can I help them going up to the people with the first world problems? Some of us have first world problems. Oh, my Wi-Fi is a bit slow. Some people have third world problems here in the UK where they've been abused. They're going through some things. So sometimes it does take money to fix things. So with an unlimited check, yeah, I would start there.
What do you believe the one thing that money can't fix?
Oh, sorry, say again. What's the question?
What do you believe the one thing that money cannot fix?
Would I believe there is one thing that money can't fix, or
What is the one thing that you believe
oh,
that money itself
uh,
can't fix?
um, well, your religion, your faith,
Yes,
your
actually. Yeah.
yeah, faith has got nothing to do with your income. You can be as poor and as rich. It's got nothing to do with your belief, your faith. Um, God doesn't care about what's in your bank account, how much or how little. Obviously I'm Christian, so that's
Mm.
very deep important to me. But what I earn, what I make is irrelevant, in terms of my faith. So yeah, that's one thing you can't buy your way into heaven or buy your faith and things like that. That's got nothing to do with your finances.
If you saw someone who was in the same position as you when you first started out, being a cameraman, and just struggling in the way that you said, what would your advice be into making those steps? Because I know, even though we're talking now, and I know you're only telling me a fraction of what actually, went on, but I know, David, that you must have went through so many things
Yeah,
to get to where you are today. But
yeah.
is there a way that you could break down some of the things that you've done in your life to help someone who may ask the question, David, I need help, or I'm putting my hands up and I'm saying, I need that hug. What are some of the things that you would say to them to help them to prosper?
Again, when you firstly find a mentor,
Hmm.
find a vehicle that can get you out of where you are. So obviously you're
Yes.
stuck, you're in a bad place. Your goal is to leave that bad place and get to a better place. Most people don't know how. It's very easy to become successful. Very easy. You need a mentor first, someone who's already successful. And if you're passionate about what they do or what they did to get successful, then that's great. So if you're into property, someone who's making good money from property. Hey, you're passionate about property too. They're successful in property. That's your mentor. Now you may have to pay them, or it might be someone who loves you who's going to do it for free. But you
Yeah.
find a mentor first who is successful in an area or in something that you might be interested in, and someone who's got a bit of time for you, whether you have to pay for them and you can afford to pay for them, or you
Yeah.
don't have to pay for them, but they love you enough to do it for free. So you find that mentor, you find the vehicle, which is whether it's like my business, the travel business, or it's property, or it's teaching, or whatever that vehicle is to make some money or to succeed in business. And finally, you put hard work into it. You're working hard anyway in your job or whatever it is you do. So you find a mentor, you find that vehicle that can get you to where you want to be from A to B, whatever your goals are. Everyone's different, and you take it seriously. Because you have a good mentor, you have a great vehicle, but you do nothing, it's not going to work. Or you are really hardworking, you've got a vehicle, but no one to show you how to do it properly, it might get you there very, very slowly. It's better to have a mentor. So,
Yeah.
and believe quicker. What I would say to my younger self or someone in my position, if you do find those things, a mentor, a vehicle, and you've got a work ethic, believe quicker. Don't overthink it. Dive in. What's the worst that could happen? Believe quicker. Believe in yourself. Believe in your ability. Believe what can happen, and believe quicker.
See, I love that. That's good advice, guys. So if you feel like you're stuck, take the advice. But it's just about you not having the fear to be able to push yourself forward. Because I always believe that fear does stop you, but it shouldn't hinder you. So one day you'll wake up and you'll say, that's enough. Just like me and David did. We'll be like, that's enough. And you'll walk out that door and you'll be like, yeah, I'm going to go and do something that I believe I deserve, because there is some, is finding your self-worth is one of the most important things in life, is finding that self-worth. Once you find it, you won't let go. Believe me, you will not let go. David, I've only got two more for you. So my second to last question for you is, when you feel like you've done enough in the world, what would you like your legacy to be as a person?
I mean, two of my biggest passions right now is obviously my travel business, legacy,
Yes,
where,
definitely.
I've helped multiple people have their first holiday experience, that family that can't afford Disneyland and now taking that trip to Disneyland,
I
you
love that.
know, and that's a memory for life. I mean, we always remember that amazing family trip with our spouse or family. So, legacy in the travel business I do, I've helped some people to make a part-time income, some people to make a six-figure income, some people to make a multiple six-figure income. One person, has become a millionaire through the travel business I'm involved in, which is, for me, it's like, that's crazy, that's amazing. So, but in the other side of my passions, I love TV and film, movie, acting. If I could become, an actor in a show that I'm really passionate about, something I really, really like. For me, my own selfish reasons, that's something I'd be really, really excited about. But overall, my impact, that I'd like to leave, my legacy is, I bring smiles to people's faces. I love making people laugh, smile, happy, and putting them in a better place. So when people hear my name, they'll think of, this is the person who really cared for other people, really helped other people, and not just on an emotional level, but actually did it, really made real changes, real impacts in thousands of people's lives. Starting with my family, my loved ones, my close people around me, and then obviously through hard work, expanding it to people around the world.
See, I love that. And the last one for me, David, is I would love for everyone to get to know where they can find you, or even if they want to ask you a question, or just get to know more about who David is. Where can they find you?
Yeah, I'll normally be in North London. No, I'm joking. I'll be at the Nando's in North London, but that's where you can find me every Tuesday night. But so my socials are
Sorry.
at Mr. That was left, wasn't it? But Mr. Go Travel. So MRGO Travel. So Mr. Go Travel is my Instagram. Facebook is David Dacosta, Dacosta. It's a picture of me in a blue suit. My number is not joking. I'm not going to give my number, but yeah. So I'm mostly on Instagram. I've got my own YouTube channel called Flatmates. I'm currently making a Black James Bond web series right now.
That's
So that's
cool.
on Flatmates. If you type in Flatmates David Dacosta on YouTube, you'd find my trailer and some of the early episodes for that. Yeah, that's most of my socials. I think I typed it on the chat here as well, at Mr. Go Travel, under my
Yeah.
name. Well, so yeah, I'd love to hear from anybody.
David, this is where I say thank you so much for taking your time to come on the Us People show, for explaining, your journey of who you are as a human being, a person, showing us that we can come from one extreme to the next extreme, but most of all, knowing your worth of who you are as a person and living that worth and sharing it with people. So thank you so much. I pray and I hope and I give you so much energy for what you have to go on to do in the future, and just keep being you, because that's the only person that you can be. And I know it's fulfilling. So thank you so much, David, for coming on the Us People show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you for having me. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. And guys, I want to thank you for watching and listening the Us People show. And please remember, you can always jump in and see Savia Rocks on Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time on Apple TV, Fire TV, Freeview channel 271, YouTube, LCBN, and LCBNTV.com. You can also re-listen to this interview on Wednesdays on the Heart Song Live at 9 p.m. UK time. Every Tuesday, we have the Us People podcast, which is a pre-recorded podcast for you guys to listen to. Also, you can also jump on the Savia Rocks website and the Us People podcast website for any updates on any interviews or any questions that you might have for us, guys. And this is where I say thank you so much for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another. Take care.
Energy and peace of mind, peace of mind, peace of mind. People say that having a peace of mind is trying to find a consistency of calmness within ourselves, to crave for a clarity that drives us through our emotional journey of life, to never let a person's judgment manifest into a fear inside of us.